So hello. Hopefully this one works. I've tried this a few times now and been some bugs. Anyway, what I'm going to do today is talk about India's chances in the upcoming Test series. I'm going to make this quick because you guys don't want to hear me prattle on for too long. But also, I'm really annoyed that I've had to do this like 4 times now. Anyway, that's how it goes. I suppose I'll get used to YouTube eventually. So anyway, what I've got to say. So first of all, I'm predicting that if there's no rain, we're going to have, and everything goes according to plan, India's going to win in Adelaide, the first test. I'm predicting an Indian victory. Yay, India, you're going to start off 1-0 up. I'm predicting that. I'm predicting an Australian win in the second test. It's going to be 1-1. I'm predicting an Australian win in the third test. Australia's going to be 2-1 up. And I'm predicting who knows what's going to happen in Sydney because whoever wins the toss is going to win. That's what my prediction is. So that'll mean either a 3-1 series win to Australia or a 2-all draw. Now that's my prediction officially. Now I say that with a few caveats because I think that Adelaide is always in a situation where you can always draw if you want to. So I think if Tim Payne and the coach, as Tim Payne as captain and the coach Justin Langer, if they have a bit of smarts about them, they're going to go for the draw in Adelaide, and that'll mean that either it's a 3-0 win for Australia or a 2-1 win, depending on who wins the toss in Sydney. So that's my secondary prediction, if you like. Now, my tertiary prediction also, I think that India, if they're a bit smart, can get a draw in Melbourne. So you get a draw in Melbourne, Indian fans, there's a chance of a series win. And that's something that's pretty exciting for you. So, Melbourne, it always has a little bit of rain going around. I don't know the weather forecast this far in advance. We're a month off, not till the 26th of December. But also, not only that, it was a draw last time in Melbourne. There was just some slow batting. So, you know, that could be a draw again. In fact, last time we had it, we had the two matches that were results, which Australia won in the first test in Adelaide and the second test in it was Brisbane last time. They were both ones where it was close to being a draw. So, good captaincy, perhaps we can say, from Stephen Smith at the time, led to wins for Australia instead of draws. The other two, not such good captaincy, or perhaps better captaincy from Virat Kohli, whichever way you want to look at it. They were draws. Australia dominated all 4 matches last time around. I'm not expecting the same level of dominance, but I don't think that it's accurate to say that India's going to dominate. I think that we're going to level the playing field a little bit with the absence of Smith and Warner. If Smith and Warner were there, I'd be saying 4-0. But, and I'd say that'd be easy wins for all 4 tests. But I'm saying India's best chances are in Adelaide and Sydney. So first and fourth tests, they're the ones they're going to hope to win. I think on balance, if we didn't have to worry about a deteriorating pitch in Sydney, we'd be thinking slightly in favour of India because Sydney tends to be pretty good for spinners. India's got better spinners. They'd have your Kuldeep Yadav, you'd have your Ravindra Jadeja, and you'd have your Ravi Ashwin and whoever else might be around. I'm not really up to date with all the different spin bowlers going around. Maybe even Krunal Pandya will have a go. And he's spinning, I'm pretty sure he was. But yeah, I mean, who knows who ends up there? I don't see Australia playing an extra spinner. I think Australia might go for 4 paces in Perth. And I'd love to see James Pattinson in there. I think he's just coming back from a really long injury, and he was Australia's best bowler before. So I'd like to see him come into the team in Perth. Hopefully he's fit by then. I mean, he's been playing in Sheffield Shield. Hopefully he's considered by then. I'd love to see him play, and if he does well, whoever's the worst out of the other one, it's currently Mitchell Stark's the worst one of the other three. I'd like to see those continue. So we might find that Stark's not playing in the third or fourth tests, and that might happen if we've got Pattinson in there. If Pattinson's not considered good enough, I'd like to see Jackson Bird go in there. I think he's had a fantastic series last 2 years, really, in Sheffield Shield cricket and in all forms. He answered that challenge that was laid down to him by the time, the coach Darren Lehmann. He's been absolutely astounding. He's been the star player in the domestic series. And I mean, you can't ignore him. but you can still say he is just that little bit below Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark, who are just absolutely astounding Australian bowlers. I mean, the best Australian bowlers I've seen in my life, the best three. And look, as far as Nathan Lyon, he is at his absolute best form right now. Better than he was 4 years ago, better than he was last year. He's just keeping going better. He's still perhaps not quite Shane Warne level, but he's a lot better than he used to be. And he's certainly at the stage where I'm sort of thinking, well, maybe even we'll take him to Perth because he's sort of almost getting at that undroppable position now. And that's the situation. So look, I'm expecting an exciting series. Looking forward to it. I think Virat Kohli will be a big key for India. I also think Jasprit Bumrah, he's well and truly India's best fast bowler. He's the only one that can really compete with Australia's best fast bowlers. Um, if he can do as well as has been doing in the shorter formats and bring that into the Test level, and perhaps inspire some of the other bowlers, you've got your Mohammad Shamis, you've got your, Ishant Sharma's there. I don't know if I can really trust him, but you've got your Bhuvneshwar Kumar. I mean, both of them, both Kumar and Shami, Bhuvi and Shami, have had good performances. They just haven't been consistent. And perhaps under Jasprit Bumrah, they can bring that to the Test level. They'd be my three fast bowlers for India. I know that there's a lot of people want to have Ishant Sharma there. I just think he hasn't really done enough in Australia in his previous ones. I don't think he's in quite good enough form. I'd love to see Ravindra Jadeja and Ravi Ashwin given a go for the series. I think they were really good in England, and Australian conditions aren't that much different to England. So I think, Kuldeep Yadav though, he's got that irresistible form, but he can't bat, so it changes the dynamic. You kind of you got to wonder what to do there. And look, Pujara, great batsman. Ajinkya Rahane, fantastic batsman. Um, Shicky Darwin had a fantastic time in Australia on his Test debut. I'd love to see him there. I'd love to see a Rohit Sharma. I'm not a big fan of KL Rahul. He's up and down, isn't he? Um, I mean, that Rizab Pant. Um, he's no MS Dhoni, is he? But he can bat all right. So as long as you're prepared to put up with a few blunders in the field. Gosh, he made a few though, didn't he? But look, he's not. He's probably all right. I don't mind him in the side there. I think look, this Indian side is fairly good. But if you look at them, how they were in England, it was Virat Kohli or bust. And you look at how India were in 2014, it was Virat Kohli or bust. Chances are, this series, Virat Kohli will be up here. This is the rest of the Indians. That's what I reckon probably will happen. Look, you might have a Kuldeep have a good go every so often. You might find that Ajinkya Rahane, oh, goodness, I struggle to say their names, but Pujara might have a good go once or twice. I'm not expecting consistent goodness. I'm expecting consistent goodness from Virat Kohli, although, look, he has not always had the good form lately. That first T20 really struggled, but the third one, he struggled to start with, but he came good, didn't he? He brought India back from nowhere. India were completely out of it, and then he brought them back. Boom! India went from losing to winning. That was all Virat Kohli. I didn't, that's what he can do. He can do that in any format. And Australia did have a player who was just as good. And I think Steve Smith, personally, in Test format, has been better than Virat Kohli. But that's no insult to Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli overall, across the three formats, has been the best player of the last 3 or 4 years. And overall, right now, he's still the best player if you combine the formats. But certainly the best batsman. I know a lot of Bangladeshi fans will say Shakib Al Hassan is the best player. Shakib Al Hassan, I'd say, is probably the best all-rounder across the three formats. And I'd probably say Rashid Khan is the best bowler across the three formats, although he only played one test, so that's a bit up in the air. But look, Virat Kohli has just been fantastic. He's going to be a big, big chance to be man of the series. And if India are going to shock everyone and win this series, and I think it is an upset, it'll be India's first ever Test series win. Wow, that'd be in Australia, first ever Test series win in Australia. That'd be a huge achievement, even with missing Smith and Warner. We've got our excuses lined up. We've got some bad selections beyond that as well. I mean, what are the Marsh brothers doing there? And why is Marcus Harris there? But look, even with that, I still think India are not favourites. I think India are big underdogs. I think the odds are about 10 to 1 against for India to win. It's a chance. I'm giving India a chance of a 2-1 if everything goes perfect. I think that's probably barring miracles or me being completely wrong with everything, and I don't think I'm that wrong. I think 2-1's the best India can hope for. I think most likely, I think we're looking at probably in Australia 2-1 or 3-1 or 3-0. I don't think it'll be 4-0 for Australia. I don't think Australia can win in Adelaide. I mean, we can, but it'd take something really special. If Australia win in Adelaide, series over. If it's a draw in Adelaide, Australia's probably got the series. If India win in Adelaide, that still doesn't mean that just gives India a chance. That gives India a chance of winning the series. So that's what we're looking at. We're starting off. If Australia win, I mean, it'd take some wonderful batting and some great bowling. Don't know who's going to do it. Probably Pat Cummins. I'm thinking Pat Cummins is the right man, most likely. He could just go rip through it. But Virat Kohli, if he gets 2 failures, Australia could win in Adelaide. And therefore win the series 4-0. Boom. See you later, India. Congratulations, Tim Paine. And look, a lot of it will also depend on how the crowd react. If you go into the grounds in Australia and you see a lot of people holding up sandpaper, pretty hard for Australia. But see how they go. I mean, I'm hoping Australians get behind their players and they say, hey, look, we know we've been lied to about the whole thing. Cameron Bancroft shouldn't have ever picked him. He's did a professional foul. We're not blaming all these blokes. We know that Warner and Smith tried to do the right thing. They're getting banned. They're fallen for Australian cricket. We're the good guys. We're the only country in the world to have banned people for related to ball tampering without actually doing it. No other teams even thought about doing that. Most other teams deny it. We took it on the chin, took full responsibility, banned the bloke for 9 months, and then we banned 2 other people for a year that didn't even do it. What great people we are. I mean, and that just says a lot about Australian cricket, I think. And you've also got the domestic thing. I mean, domestic Australia that they're banned from. Smith and Warner have taken $6 million hits. Goodness, I mean, that's what we've done. You look at what other teams have done. Every other country that's been caught, 7 of them. I mean, including Australia. Good on us. Good on us. We're going to bring that forward. And if Australia fans have that attitude where we're just going to go, good on you, Australia. Let's see how you go. I think we can win this as long as we don't go getting all stupid and bringing sandpaper along. So anybody brings sandpaper along, punch them in the face. They shouldn't be doing that sort of nonsense. Anybody brings a banner, punch them in the face, tear it down, whatever. You don't belong. You don't belong in there. And that goes for either side. I think India, they did the right thing in the T20s. I'm expecting the Indian fans probably outnumber the Australian fans and be good sports and give it a red hot go. See who can win. You never know. India might win the first test. They might win their first ever series in Australia. Might be a 2-1 win. Might be getting down 1-1, and then we got Sydney. That'd be amazing. That'd be, maybe India win the toss. Favourites to win the test, favourites to win the series. Could be going right down to the wire there in Australia, holding on, trying to get that draw when the pitch is cracking up. Oh, that's something to look forward to. That's something to see what might happen. A lot of things could happen there. We're going to just see what happens. And for you Indian fans who are thinking it's going to be a 4-0 drubbing, that you guys are going to win 4-0, well, good luck with that, mate. You never know what might happen. I don't think it's likely. I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see what happens, though. Let's see if India can create history, have their first ever Indian team to win in Australia. All right, see you then. Bye bye.